I think we are in the culminating session of the two-day program. And I think very fittingly, I think we have been talking about cash on delivery all through the last 2 days. We have been talking about this being the limiting factor in the growth of e-commerce in the last couple of days. And I think we have such distinguished guests on stage today who will hopefully provide an answer and real-time perspectives on what they are seeing on the ground. And how do we see this going forward? Is this really a limiting case? What can we learn from their experience? So that's hopefully what the session is going to be about. Let me just start off with a certain statistics that was just come out in a couple of studies recently. So there is a premise that customers buy more when the delivery is free and when you have to pay cash at the end of the purchase. But there is also some statistics that goes to show that in COD shipments, vis-a-vis other shipments, you need to attempt 25% more number of times to actually get the goods to the customer, which means that the customer, the discipline of the customer in accepting a delivery for which he has not paid is a question mark. And there is a second statistic which said the number of returns in a COD shipment is 30%. So I'm going to just open this with probably Rahul because he represents the industry. I'm going to just ask, has this industry gone overboard? And has the Indian customer really become too spoiled for choice? And if that is so, I think we are living in a time of rationalization, right? Business models of e-commerce players, we are talking about rationalization. How easy or difficult it is to now get the expectations back, the anchored expectations back towards becoming cashless in e-commerce?
So firstly, I don't think e-commerce should become cashless. E-commerce, he was correct in saying that there are more returns in a cash on delivery. Customers are not disciplined. But I don't think e-com companies have gone overboard by promoting more cash on delivery. It was a stage where people got to learn about e-commerce. This is how a transaction is done. A lot of users were new, first-time users, so they purchased for the first time. A lot of people didn't have credit cards, debit cards. So the only commodity to pay was cash. So it was a necessary evil which had to be taken by the e-com companies, number one. Number two, how do we improve on this? I would say data. So now with the rationalization of a lot of e-com companies, people have started working on data. Which clusters are returning more? Or is a customer, what is the quality of that customer? What are the geographical locations? What are the various demographics of customers which are returning more? And they are working again and again to actually reduce those customer segments. So for example, a lot of e-com companies have stopped shipments in Uttar Pradesh above 5,000 bucks for cash on delivery, right? So a lot of these companies are rationalizing themselves so that even on an e-com transaction, you get lesser returns, you get better quality of customers. Apart from this, I would say that with growing brand visibility, with people getting more and more brand confidence, a lot of customers have started shifting from cash on delivery to credit cards and debit cards. Plus in a country like India, where cash accounts for a huge percentage of the country's economy, I think cash on delivery is here to stay, but it'll be done in a more data-driven manner rather than a complete, haywire way.
Handling cash is not easy. It requires, safety issues, reconciliation issues. One has to really see how the entire thing can be done in a digital way, and it helps everybody to improve margin. whether it's a seller, whether it's a logistics service provider, or, what happens is, as you rightly mentioned, in a COD, you make multiple attempts. So it may sound, that yes, you are getting some extra money on COD, but you are wasting a lot of cost in terms of multiple attempts. So that neutralizes. So one need to really, encourage. I think we as a country need to find some kind of, aim for an ecosystem which encourages a digital payment system. Let me give an example that why, let's say 2008, 2009 was the time when this e-com business started. And at that time, the COD used to be close to about 90% plus. In a span of, let's say, 2008 to 2016, we have reached to a figure of 70%. So today, cash on delivery is 70%. Yes, there is a progress, but I think this progress is not fast. I think we need to accelerate it much faster. We have invested so much of money in terms of providing each and every delivery boy and a gadget where, the entire credit card or a debit card swiping can happen. We are equipped even to take payment through a wallet system. Any kind of digital thing we are ready to just invest in. But problem is, usage is not much. So if we are saying 70% cash on delivery today, not even 1% of that is coming in through debit or a credit card or through the banking channel. That's the problem. So one need to, you are investing, but you are not seeing that return happening. So yes, we are in, and we are even now investing further. How can we, the government initiatives are coming in, the wallets, we are equipped. Imagine, I really wonder how would the banking system handle it. Let me give you a number. Today we handle close to about, as an industry I'm saying, not as Blue Dart, the number per month, or let's say close to about 7,500-7,000 crore a month. Imagine that what will happen in 2020. So my estimate is, even if let's say 90 became 70 and 70 may become 50, by 2020 you will be handling 80,000 to 100,000 kind of crore cash per month, per year. It's mind-boggling. So there is certainly a need to change it. You see, 22 million credit card holders in the country, 500 million debit cards. Look at the accounts. How many wallets users will be there? Even if they are there, the regulatory system is also not supporting. If you have a wallet, there is a limit. You can't transact more than 10,000 rupees. Then you need a KYC, leading to number of issues. Absolutely. So I think everyone in the chain, I think, need to work together to reduce this.
If you look at the penetration of the market beyond tier 4, tier 5, what I've been listening during the day, you're not going beyond tier 4, you're not going into the interiors. You have places which are 4 hours away from Leh. You have places which are 0, Tawang, Bomdila, the northeast. You have certain pockets in the country which are known as technically non-feasible. That means even the internet penetration doesn't go there. So how do you serve these guys? They are also to be served. They are your customers at the end of the day. That is where the market is in the future. So what you're talking about, COD, I think will still be there. But then with technology, even we are introducing technology over a period of time. It will take time to roll out. We are going to give handheld devices. We are doing a lot of things. Payment banks are coming in. They'll be able to help us. So at the end of the day, the market will keep on expanding. Your CODs will take time to come down because at the end of the day, everyone is comfortable with cash.
Right.
The small time person, small ticket expenditure, $200, $300, he'll pay cash.
Why do consumers prefer COD, and would they move from COD at all? And there are two parts to that challenge. And one has to do with the fact that will consumer begin to trust their e-com providers to pay first and get their goods later? And that, I think, is a matter of category. So electronics as a category, for example, might be easier. Apparel as a category might be more difficult. Furniture as a category might be even more difficult, or something like that. I'm not the expert. But I think over a period of time, it's a matter of repeat behavior of the consumer, and consumers begin to then experience what it is like to receive goods on their doorstep from a certain service provider. And obviously, it will not go across the board. So I may choose to pay electronically to X provider, but I may still choose to pay cash to a newcomer on the block who is good for a certain thing. So that, I think, will be more the spectrum of behavior rather than determined by the person, as you know, we do this discovery in the e-commerce space. But that's on the side of, that's what, you know, service providers will control. The other thing is also equally real, which is the friction in payment itself. So now I have, as a consumer, I have come to the point where I have started trusting my e-commerce service provider, because in general, what they sell to my house, send to my house is pretty good. And I would like to pay them upfront. I don't particularly mistrust them. How do I pay? Two challenges there again. One is that I have black money, in which case I do not want to pay, because I want to pay cash because I want to conceal my payment. Can't help you. Stay under the carpet. Person who actually doesn't have that problem, wants to pay upfront, still has friction in payment. Net banking, adding a service provider, you know, if you try to do POS, card on delivery, then the POS has to be there, something doesn't work. So there, that's where we feel that mobile as a solution, the product, the kind of product that, let's say we have, where a request for pay can be made. So the service provider, the deliverer can send a request to pay, and regardless of where I am, I can pay for it, or I can pay for it upfront using the gateway. So I have multiple models of payments available to me. Each one is easy and frictionless. That, doing away with that friction solves a big part of that problem and is also habit forming. So both together begins to change behavior. So I'm quite certain that behaviors will change, but they may not change uniformly across all categories, across all products, across all service providers.